I finally got around to seeing the Nosferatu remake, the latest film from Robert Eggers, who I think is one of the greatest directors working today. I mean, he made The Lighthouse. So, of course, there was a lot of anticipation here, to the point where I did my homework. I read the original Dracula novel and watched all the existing Nosferatu films, all of which are great, by the way. And after seeing this one, my verdict is that, as expected, Egg Boy hatched another goddamn banger. This is a truly dark, gothic vampire movie, and that's exactly what we needed right now. I guess I'll start on the visual front. It looks amazing. It really captures the visuals that were conjured up in my head while reading Dracula. A lot of movies these days are dark and desaturated to a fault. They just end up looking muddy and terrible, where you can't see anything going on. And Nosferatu slaps us in the face with a big ol' reminder of just how good darkness and dull colors can be. Like, listen, it's a spooky story. It's a fucked up world. So it kinda demands a fair bit of gloom, right? And though there's the risk of going too far with that and ending up with a wretched piece of gray slop, this film does it to a perfect degree, as the colors are washed out yet striking, you feel me? It adds to the sense of decay that it's going for. And when you can't quite see shit, it's entirely purposeful and works to the film's benefit. I love how Count Orlok is often obscured by shadows. It adds so much mystery and otherworldliness to him. And when he slowly exhumes himself from said shadows, revealing his wicked appearance as he hones in on his cornered prey, who can do nothing but stare on in horror. That's just pure dread right there. Some of my favorite shots are when all you can see of Count Orlok is the shadow of his hand as it descends upon Ellen, or when it's cast over the town. It feels like Eggers is really channeling the expressionism of the original Nosferatu film there. I also want to talk about the light sources. Eggers carries on his love of naturalistic lighting to great effect, as much of the light in the film is derived from either flames from fireplaces and candles during the orange scenes, or moonlight beaming through windows in the blue scenes. Really makes you feel like you're in this Nosferatu shit for real. And the set design is stellar as well. Whether it be Count Orlok's creepy ass labyrinth of a mansion, or the town with its narrow ass cobblestone streets with all the plague ridden rats everywhere. Which I honestly love rats, so I'd be willing to catch a plague for them. In terms of how the characters look, everybody's dressed dapper as fuck. But really, the thing to talk about here is the appearance of Count Orlok. It's distinct from past Nosferatu films. He's got a mustache, as Dracula did in the original novel, though this wasn't carried over into most of the movies. Robert Eggers did this because of his trademark penchant for historical accuracy. As he said in an interview, good luck finding a Transylvanian nobleman 400 years ago that didn't have a mustache. And also, Orlok is looking more like a zombie than ever, with the rotting flesh and all that. Which makes sense. I mean, he is 1,000 years old. Now, on to the performances. Everybody did a solid ass job, even the children. There was never a weak moment. Willem Dafoe once again plays a crazed old man on the verge of flinging his feces at the wall to marvelous results. Bill Skarsgård is just completely submerged in the Orlok character. There's barely any signs of that man left in the beast, both because of the thick makeup coating his body, the gnarly ass voice he puts on, and because the guy just straight up went goblin mode, as Count Orlok should do. But honestly, I think the standout performance of the movie was from Lily Rose Depp, which is ironic because a big concern was raised before the film came out when it was announced that she would be cast as Ellen. People were saying, oh goddamn Nepo baby, she's gonna be trash. And I was like, listen, you motherfuckers. Eggers knows what he's doing. He's never disappointed, and he's not gonna disappoint now. He put her in there for good reason. And guess who was correct again? She absolutely killed it. With the convulsions, the gagging, the groaning, and just the whole freak out she underwent throughout the film in general. With how far she took it, you really feel that, like, okay, this chick is legit being tormented by a horrific force of nature for real. Especially when she was sticking her tongue out with her eyes rolled back. That was wild. And she was good at dialing it back and being all chill sometimes. That was also a part of it. Now, in terms of story or whatever, the whole relationship between Ellen and Count Orlok was great. Basically, the situation is she had a bunch of deep rooted desires and insecurities long suppressed that she was crumbling under the weight of. And the Nosferatu creature was this evil force taking advantage of her personal crisis and lulling her into a corrupt communion that she couldn't help but be drawn to. And that's the thing, is much like in the Dracula novel, Orlok in this movie is more a force than just a creepy dude with fangs, with how he manifests through plagues and mental afflictions. Oh, and another thing notable about how Count Orlok is depicted is how particularly gross, gruff, and barbaric he is. It's also pagan, and he also sucks blood from people's chests rather than their necks. And the reason for all of this is Eggers was drawing from the original version of vampires in traditional Transylvanian folklore, rather than the romanticized Hollywood version that's all suave and fancy. Alright, now on to the ending. It was like a Soulsborne cutscene. It was fucking awesome. To the point where I don't even feel the need to explain. You just have to see it. I'll just say that ending shot is perfection. With the praise out of the way, I guess I'll go over a few small critiques that I have. For one, there was a few instances of some jump scares that were kinda cheap, kinda corny. Also, it might have been the bath salts, but a few shots looked a bit too digital for my liking. A common critique I've heard is that a lot of people didn't like how melodramatic the dialogue was. But I love that shit. It's a pool I want to swim in. Especially because I could tell how much fun Eggers was having. He got his start in theater, so that kind of thing is his bread and butter. But yeah, at the end of the day, what a grand slam of a movie this was. It really did the Nosferatu story justice. It's twisted in the best kind of way. You heard about the Beauty and the Beast. Well, here we got the Beauty, the Beast, and the Cuck. Let's fucking go.